Happy Friday. We made it to another week. Man, 4 day weeks, 4 day work weeks are really draining for me for some reason. Also, doesn't help that I didn't get much sleep last night. I'm really worried about my dog. I'm pretty sure he'll be fine, but it doesn't help. Doesn't stop me from worrying. Tried going to sleep for like 4 or 5 hours and go. Didn't really pass out until 2 in the morning. I woke up around 6:30 ish and headed to work. But as tired as I am now, I'm also tired with the Democrats crapping on border patrols. That's right. They always want to crap on the border patrols. Now, I'm pretty sure everybody remembers the picture of the border patrol whipping people, even though it wasn't really whipping. It was just the something to do with the horse reins. But here's the update. Action. Border Patrol agent faced disciplinary action for treatment of migrants. The move came after a months long internal investigation found that the agents used unnecessary force against illegal immigrants at the border in Del Rally in Texas, September. Yes, I'm calling them illegal immigrants because that's what the hell they are. I'm not going to say they're undocumented immigrants or document deficient. They're freaking illegal immigrants. Now, I do believe that the United States needs an immigration policy, mainly because we ain't producing kids. Apparently, picking fruits and vegetables is beneath the Americans that live here, and they're not going to pick themselves. So we do need a cheap labor force in order for that to happen, and unfortunately, a lot of that is illegal immigration. But there was no wrongdoing. There's just unnecessary force. Does that mean every time a cop arrests someone, they're going to face disciplinary actions because it was unnecessary roughness, unnecessary force? I don't know. It's frustrating because this isn't the first time a Democrat has done this. I'll get to that a little bit later. Washington, D.C., 4 Border Patrol agents who were among those responding to immigrants, illegal immigrants, I'm not going to call them by their ethnic background because it has no purpose here, crossing the southwestern border of Del Rito, Texas in September. I can't speak. Must be I'm tired anyways. Facing disciplinary action for inappropriate use or threatening use of force against the U.S. or against them. U.S. Custom and Border Protection announced Friday that after internal investigation, the aggressive treatment partially stemmed from the Border Patrol agent fulfilling the request from the Texas State Police that directly conflicted with the Border Patrol operation objective. Chris Magnus, the Commissioner of Custom and Border Protection, said at the news conference on Friday. It's just a lot of word salad. If they really cared about immigration, they'll pass immigration reform. I don't exactly know what the whole immigration law is and where the bottleneck is, but I do understand that there's people that are leaving their country because they feel persecuted and actually are persecuted and they do require asylum. But there's Mexico. Mexico is this country before the United States. Yes, you may have a right to asylum, but you don't have a right to come to America for such asylum seekers. While the Border Patrol supervisor approved of the order, Mr. Magnus said that more senior officials at the agency were not immediately aware of the directive. Well, it sounds like a communication issue. Findings came after a nearly 10-month investigation detailed in a 510, I think it's 510, but a 500-page report describing the episode which crystallized President Biden's struggle to rebuild an orderly system at the border with Mexico. Actually, no, he's not. He's just fucking ignoring it. Sorry for cursing, but I'm going to call a spade a spade. He doesn't care. He wants all the illegal immigrants to come in. He's saying it's a humanitarian need that we have to be welcoming. No, it's screw you. Screw the illegal immigrants. Because when you have illegal immigrants just getting a free pass, that is a slap in the face with a black fucking dildo to the people that come over here legally. I'm actually tired. I'm cursing. And I'm sorry, but that's how I feel about illegal immigration. Because all the people that do it legally, even people that come from Mexico, like the House of Representative that just got elected, she went here legally. And when you have illegal people doing that, it's a slap in the face to them because they did it legally, and you have this person that just swam across the border is now get free reign of this wonderful country while she had to pay probably hundreds and thousands of fees to do it legally. Struggling to rebuild an orderly system with Mexico, stay in Mexico, remain in Mexico. A lack of command, control, and communication led to the unnecessary use of force against illegal immigrants. In addition to conflicting commands Mr. Magus said that the patrol units on horseback who were deployed lack training and supervision. While there was no evidence to corroborate the accusation that the illegal immigrants were hit with the reins, one of the horses, Mr. Magus said that the investigation found that some of the agents acted unprofessionally, which means we're going to say they acted unprofessionally because we don't want to fix the issue, and we want to show we're tough on law enforcement that's protecting our border, law enforcement that's protecting our city, law enforcement that's protecting our states. We're going to punish those people in order to appease illegal immigration, to appease criminals. I'm frustrated. I am frustrated. I'm not saying Trump's policy was any better, but at least there was a goal to back our law enforcement. They may not get it right every time, but they should have some leeway. But because Biden wants to be tough on law enforcement to say that they're not getting away with a free lunch, he's using any excuse to make an example. These 4 agents are going to be the example because of political reasons. They're political hostages, just like the January 6th defendants. They're political hostages. Let's see. Ms. Magan said the investigation found that some agents acted unprofessional and made denigrating comments. The 4 agents who have been moved to administrative positions, Mr. Magan declined to describe the recommended disciplinary actions because the review and appeal process was continued. They're talking about not paying these people, put them on unpaid leave as punishment. I don't know what to say. Every time there's a Democrat, Border Patrol seems to suffer. Going back to Obama, one of our favorite presidents. I mean, I wish I could have Obama as president right now. At least he could speak. At least he could read the teleprompter. At least he seemed competent. Now, this is off of a Wikipedia. I know people don't like it, but Jose Alonso Campella, born 1976, is a former United States Border Patrol agent convicted of shooting, wounding a fleeing illegal alien drug smuggler on the United States-Mexican border near El Paso, Texas, on February 17, 2005, and of covering up the shooting. Okay, I guess if he covered it up, there is some issue with that, assuming that is true. It is Wikipedia after all. Obstructing justice by willfully defacing the crime scene. On January 2009, President Bush commuted the sentence of both Comping and fellow agent Ignacio Ramos, effectively ending their prison term on March 20th, 2009, and were both released on February 17th, 2009. That doesn't make any sense. March 2009 comes after February. Regardless, they were gained full pardon on December 22nd, 2020 by President Donald Trump. I think he campaigned on this. Company Capine was patrolling a sector on the border with Ramos. When they spotted a man crossing the border, they stopped him in the van containing 743 pounds of marijuana, but he ran. Capine said he thought the suspect had a gun and was going to shoot him, so he fired at him first. He missed the shot, but his partner, hearing the gunfire, fired in order to defend Capine and hit the suspect in the buttocks. Shot him in the ass. They lost sight of the man, but they saw him on the Mexican side of the border. They mistakenly did not believe that he had been injured, so they did not report the incident, even though it involved a discharge of their firearm. If this part is true, and I tend to believe it, that is a issue and the reason that they could be disciplinary actions, whether it's getting let go, not necessarily prison time, but the fact is that he was a drug smuggler. I'm not saying that the means justify or the ends justify the means, but at a certain time you gotta back your border patrol. The two officers were arrested after the drug smuggler Osvaldo Alura Davila filed a complaint against them after a 2-week jury trial. Company was found guilty on 11 counts, including discharging a firearm during a commission of a violent crime. So now we're convicting Border Patrol and police officers of violent crime when we employ them to do such actions, which itself carries a federal mandated 10-year minimum sentence. Without that charge, both agents involved would have received a far shorter sentence. Instead, company was sentenced to 12 years in prison, and his partner Ramos was sentenced to 11 years in prison. Alder Davy was granted immunity to testify against the two agents and received 6 border crossing visa to come to the United States to testify. And testify, but it's probably to testify. The arrest, trial, conviction, and imprisonment of the Campaigna Ramos had created a firestorm of controversy from those opposing illegal immigration. Efforts have been launched in the United States Congress calling on President George Bush to pardon 2 men. No, this happened under Clinton. Happened under Clinton. Totally forgot about that. I said Obama, but it was actually Clinton. I think there was an issue with Obama too. I'm not 100% sure on that one. On November, let's see, efforts to launch the United States on calling on President George W. Bush to pardon the 2 men on 2007-1206. Resolution was introduced in Congress seeking to commute their sentences. On November 15, 2007, Davila, the man that shot by Ramos, was arrested at the border crossing in El Paso. Sealed indictment had been issued for his arrest on various drug smuggling charges. According to the indictment, his alleged crimes occur after he testified for the United States against the agent. If convicted, he faces 40 years in prison. I don't know if he was convicted. The article really doesn't say this. The 2 men appealed their case in the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeal of New Orleans. It was rejected for both Ramos and Campine. Attorney for Campine and Ramos argued that, among other factors, Alder Davila was improperly allowed to assess his rights against self-incrimination in the trial. They charged that in written immunity deal with the prosecution, he was given immunity against any charges, thus removing the possibility of self-incrimination during during Campine's trial. During oral arguments before the three-judge appeal panel, Judge E. Grady Jolly remarked, for some reason, this one got out of hand. It seems to me it doesn't. It seems to me like the government's overreaching here. And I agree. I mean, we hire these people. Most of the time, there's professionals. Most of the time, they get the job done despite the politics in Washington, D.C., despite the politics from the governors on the border town or the border states, which I happen to live in, which is Texas. Now, of course, Greg Abbott is instructing people to send illegals back to the border, not deporting them, but back to the border, which may leave lawsuits against certain agents and officers. My understanding, it opens up the litigation against them if they were falsely sent to the border or improperly sent to the border, even if they are illegal immigration or illegal immigrants. I don't know. It seems like we need laws to protect our agents. We definitely need some laws to protect our officers. Now, I'm not going to die on the hill for a crappy officer that continuously breaks the law, like David Chauvin. Even though I don't agree with his trial, he's still a POS with a badge, or was a POS with a badge, and I'm glad he's in prison. But the other issue is, I understand this case where they didn't report that they fired their weapon. They should have reported that they fired their weapon. I think the charges would have not been as severe. There probably would have been disciplinary actions, whether it was a termination or not termination. But the fact that they try to hide the fact, which makes it much worse. So I kind of understand where it's coming from, but it should never have gone to trial. It should have been maybe a slap on the wrist, maybe deduction in pay, a demotion, something to that nature. But anyways, I honestly believe Democrats hate border patrols, and I think they also hate law enforcement with their actions against border patrols and police officers. That being said, do you agree with me? Is there another case that backs this up that I didn't get into? Leave a comment down below and smash the like and subscribe button on any and all platforms, or just the platform that you're currently watching. But most importantly, have yourself an awesome weekend.